Welcome back, sports fans. Today we're diving into Inter Miami's stunning 5-1 victory over Columbus Crew. Let's break down the player ratings and see who shined the brightest on the field. Now, I've been watching this game for a long time, and what I saw from Inter Miami, particularly from certain individuals we're about to discuss, was nothing short of spectacular. This wasn't just a win, this was a statement. A loud, unequivocal declaration that when this team clicks, they are a force to be reckoned with in Major League Soccer. And believe you me, the rest of the league better be taking notes, because this kind of performance, this kind of offensive explosion, doesn't just happen by accident. This 5-1 scoreline, people, it doesn't even tell the whole story. It hints at the dominance, sure, but the sheer artistry, the clinical finishing, the relentless pressure, that's what we're here to dissect. Columbus Crew, a respectable side, mind you, were made to look ordinary. They were outmaneuvered, outplayed, and frankly outclassed. When you have generational talent stepping onto that pitch, ready to perform, ready to remind everyone of their pedigree, this is the kind of result you can expect. So buckle up, because we're about to get into the nitty-gritty of who made this happen and why they deserve the plaudits. And let me be perfectly clear, I'm not just here to give you scores out of 10. Oh no, we're going deeper than that. We're going to talk about impact, about influence, about the moments that shifted the game and turned a contest into a clinic. We're talking about players who didn't just play well, but who elevated their teammates and demoralized their opponents. This is the kind of analysis you come here for, the kind of breakdown that separates the casual observers from the true connoisseurs of the beautiful game. So without further ado, let's get into these player ratings, because there's a lot to talk about, and I, for one, am excited to get started. Now, let's talk about the little magician himself, Lionel Messi, a brace, 2 goals. But it wasn't just the goals, ladies and gentlemen, it was he played the game. He was operating on a different stratosphere, a different dimension than anybody else on that field. The vision, the creativity, the sheer audacity of some of his passes, it was breathtaking. This is what we expect from Messi, and yet every single time he delivers, it still leaves you in awe. He wasn't just a goal scorer, he was the conductor of the orchestra, dictating the tempo, pulling the strings, making grown men on the opposing team look like they were chasing shadows in the Florida sun. It was vintage Messi, pure and simple. And don't even get me started on his playmaking. The man sees passes that haven't even been invented yet. He drops his shoulder, a little feint here, a burst of acceleration there, and suddenly 3 defenders are left wondering what day it is. His first goal was a testament to his intelligent movement, finding space where there was none, and the finish, clinical. As for the second, it was pure poetry in motion, a culmination of a beautiful team move that he, of course, orchestrated and then finished with aplomb. This wasn't just a player going through the motions, this was an artist at his canvas, painting another masterpiece for the adoring fans. He led by example, and his teammates, they fed off that energy, they fed off that brilliance. Some people, some naysayers might have questioned, can Messi still do it in MLS? Can he still dominate? Well, let me tell you something. After a performance like that, those questions should be put to bed. Permanently, he's not just doing it, he's redefining what's possible. He's elevating the league, he's inspiring a new generation, and he's putting on a show every single time he steps on that pitch. His leadership isn't just vocal, it's in every touch, every pass, every goal. A 10 out of 10 performance? Absolutely. And frankly, the scale doesn't even do him justice. He was, in a word, sublime. And then you have his partner in crime, the one and only Luis Suarez, El Pistolero. Now some might have whispered, is he past his prime? Does he still have that killer instinct? Let me tell you, those whispers need to turn into roars of approval after what we saw. Suarez adding to the scoreboard with a crucial goal. And it wasn't just any goal, it was a striker's goal. The kind of goal that reminds you of his pedigree, his experience, his innate ability to be in the right place at the right time. That predatory instinct, my friends, it never truly leaves a player of his caliber. He sniffed out that opportunity and he buried it. His presence alone on that front line causes nightmares for defenders. They know they can't switch off for a single second, because if they do, Suarez will punish them. And that's exactly what happened. He was a constant menace, linking up play, making those intelligent runs, and yes, showcasing that striking prowess that made him a legend across Europe. His goal wasn't just a statistic, it was a statement. It was Luis Suarez announcing, I'm still here and I'm still lethal. The understanding he has with Messi, it's almost telepathic. They've been doing this for years, and that chemistry, that bond, it's translating beautifully to Inter Miami. What I appreciate about Suarez, beyond the goals, is his tenacity. He fights for every ball, he challenges every defender, he never gives up. That kind of spirit is infectious. It rubs off on his teammates. When they see a player of his stature, with his list of accomplishments, still working that hard, still hungry for success, it elevates the entire squad. His goal was crucial, yes, but his overall contribution, his experience, his sheer will to win, that's invaluable. He's not just a goal scorer, he's a warrior, and Inter Miami are incredibly fortunate to have him leading their line. A top performance from a top striker. All right, let's move to the other end of the pitch, because you can score 5 goals, but if you're leaking them at the back, it means nothing. And that's where Drake Callender stood tall, solid, dependable, making key saves to keep the opposition at bay. Now, Columbus Crew, despite the scoreline, they had their moments. They had chances, but Callender was there, wasn't he? He was there to make those crucial interventions. A goalkeeper's performance can sometimes get overshadowed in a high-scoring game, but let me tell you, his contributions were absolutely vital to this dominant victory. Without those saves, the complexion of the game could have been very different. Think about it, when your team is attacking with such ferocity, sometimes you can be vulnerable to the counter, and that's when you need your goalkeeper to be alert, to be commanding, to be a calming presence. Callender was all of those things. He made the saves he was expected to make, and then he pulled off a couple that were truly top draw. That shows concentration, that shows athleticism, and that shows a keeper who is on top of his game. He didn't just stop shots, he exuded confidence, and that confidence permeates through the entire defensive line. Knowing you have a reliable last line of defense allows your outfield players to express themselves more freely. And it's not just about the highlight reel saves, it's about the positioning, the communication with his defenders, the decisiveness in coming for crosses. These are the intangibles that make a good goalkeeper great. Callender showcased all of those attributes. To concede only 1 goal when the opposition is desperately trying to get back into the game, especially in the later stages, speaks volumes about his focus and his quality. He was a rock back there, an absolute wall, and he deserves immense credit for his part in this comprehensive team performance. A very strong showing from the man between the posts. Now, let's shift our focus to the defensive solidity, and one man who was pivotal in that regard was DeAndre Yedlin. His efforts at the back, his contribution to the team's overall stability cannot be overstated. We talk about the attackers, and rightly so, but you need players who can do the dirty work, who can provide that defensive platform. And Yedlin did that, and then some. His pace, his recovery speed, his ability to read the game, these were all on full display. He was up against tricky wingers, but he stood his ground, he made his tackles, and he was a constant outlet going forward as well. That two-way play is so important for a modern fullback. What impressed me most about Yedlin was his discipline. In a game where Miami was so dominant offensively, it could be easy for a defender to lose concentration, to get caught too far upfield. But Yedlin maintained his defensive responsibilities impeccably. He knew when to bomb forward and support the attack, providing width and options, but he also knew when to tuck in and ensure that the back door was firmly shut. That kind of game intelligence is crucial, especially when you have such potent attacking talents ahead of you. He provided the balance, the assurance that allowed the likes of Messi and Suarez to wreak havoc. And let's not forget his experience. Yedlin has played at the highest level, he's represented his country, and he brings that wealth of knowledge to this Inter Miami side. He's a leader in that defensive unit, organizing, communicating, and setting an example with his work rate. His defensive efforts were not just about individual brilliance, they were about contributing to a cohesive, well-drilled defensive structure. He was tenacious in the tackle, alert to danger, and played a massive part in ensuring that Columbus Crew's attacking threats were largely nullified. A truly professional and highly effective performance from DeAndre Yedlin. Last, but certainly not least, let's talk about a player whose performance was incredibly noteworthy, even if he doesn't always grab the headlines like some of his illustrious teammates. I'm talking about Robert Taylor. This young man provided crucial assists and maintained relentless pressure on the opposition throughout the game. He was a live wire, a constant source of energy and creativity. In a team full of stars, you need players like Taylor who can do the selfless running, who can create opportunities for others, and who can contribute significantly to both the offensive and defensive phases of play. He was absolutely instrumental. His assists were not just simple passes, they were incisive, they were perfectly weighted, they unlocked the Columbus defense. That shows vision, that shows technical quality, and that shows an understanding of his teammates' movement. But it wasn't just his output in the final third. His work rate was phenomenal. He was pressing defenders, tracking back, making tackles. He was everywhere. That kind of industry is invaluable to any team. He didn't just wait for the ball to come to him. He went looking for it. He made things happen, and he made life incredibly uncomfortable for the Columbus Crew players. Sometimes players like Robert Taylor can be the unsung heroes of a dominant victory. While the spotlight naturally falls on the goal scorers, it's the contributions of players like him that provide the foundation for such success. He was a vital cog in the Inter Miami machine, linking defense with attack, providing width and delivering quality when it mattered most. His performance was a testament to his skill, his determination, and his importance to this team. He didn't just play his part, he excelled in his role, and he deserves every bit of praise coming his way for a truly dynamic and impactful display. That's it for today's player ratings. Inter Miami truly showcased their dominance, and let me tell you, this wasn't just a win, this was a demolition job. A 5-1 thrashing that sends a clear message to the rest of Major League Soccer Inter Miami, with Messi and Suarez firing on all cylinders and with the supporting cast playing their roles to perfection, are a genuine threat. This team is gelling, they're finding their rhythm, and the potential here is absolutely frightening for their opponents. What we saw today was a glimpse of what this team is capable of when everything clicks into place. The individual brilliance was there for all to see, from Messi's magic to Suarez's striking instincts, Calendar's saves, Yedlin's defensive steel, and Taylor's dynamic energy. But more importantly, it was a collective triumph. Every player understood their role, executed their tasks, and contributed to a performance that was as entertaining as it was effective. This is the standard they've set, and if they can maintain this level of intensity and quality, there's no telling how far they can go. This victory will build immense confidence, and that momentum is a dangerous thing in sports. So as we wrap this up, remember what you saw today. Remember the flair, the fight, and the fantastic football. Inter Miami laid down a marker, and it's going to be fascinating to see how they build on this. Don't forget to subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more exciting sports content, because I'll be here to break it all down with the passion and the analysis you expect. See you next time, and believe me, there will be plenty more to talk about as this MLS season unfolds.